God, Ricky, do you breathe air ever?
Ever, never, ever, ever, never.
No air.
Air tastes so bland.
All right, everybody. We are live on YouTube on Armwrestling Showcase #1. Everybody turn down your YouTube page if you have it open. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's me. Let's see, probably. Okay, all right. We are officially live. And okay, who else has this open? If you have your YouTube deal open, okay, that's also me again. All right, so we're off to a good start. I got Mr. Leo Landeros with us. I've got Derek Smith here with us and Ricky Ramos. And as always, we have Mr. Josh Edwards from Nowhere to Run Arm Wrestling. And we should be having Will Klingman drop in pretty soon here, as well as Lorenzo Munoz. And pretty much everyone but Josh here, my co-host, is Alpha Empire OGs, the guys that helped start this team. And yeah, we're just going to be talking about how the team started, how others can start an arm wrestling team if you're looking to train with people, and how the team operates so well. I wouldn't be surprised if Alpha Empire is actually the largest team in North America. But I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
There's some pretty big ones. I mean, it depends on how many active members you want to talk about. Like if we look at everybody that's ever considered themselves on our team ever, like that list is pretty huge. Now, if you talk about like active people that are showing up, I mean, I feel like our active central practices, not counting ET's practice or any of the other ones, I think we average on like a normal Sunday, probably about 30 people-ish, which is a pretty good sized practice. But like I said, like the team's varied. It's gone up and down over the years because people quit because they're sissies for the most part. But I mean, yeah, we're definitely on the bigger side. I know there's big teams like Granite Arms. There's some huge teams around the country the more I've looked around. But we're definitely on the bigger side. We're definitely in the top, couple percent, if not the biggest, but definitely one of the biggest.
Yes. And we also have Lorenzo Munoz just dropped in. And so, yeah, while we're waiting for Will, I want to just reflect back a little bit. 3.5 years ago, before I met all you guys, I remember falling down that rabbit hole of all the YouTube videos. And when I got to, I don't know, searching through all the US competitions, I kept seeing these snazzy black shirts on so many arm wrestlers. And it was, everywhere. I just kept saying, who are these guys? Are they like a part of like Cobra Kai or something like that? And yeah, sure enough, like when I finally started looking for a team that was local, Alpha Empire was the first ones to come up. And the interesting part is, they're a massive team, but I don't know if you guys would agree. I'd probably relate Alpha Empire more to Miyagi-Do. Because out of other teams and other practices that I've been to, it seems like there's a lot of organization to it, but also an emphasis on safety for the new arm wrestler. And Derek, a minute ago, you mentioned how a lot of people quit because they're sissies. And that was the Cobra Kai moment. I remember first practice with you guys, all of you OGs kind of like sat me down after, we were all wiped out and you had that talk with me. And I remember those words. You're probably going to quit, Kane. And to this day, I play
the odds. I get the same speech to everybody still. It's the odds.
It's beautiful.
It, like in a way of hate. I'm just saying, like, odds are you're not going to be here in a couple months. So
yeah,
we'll
and it helps.
I think it helps. I hope I say to people to challenge them, so they're like, oh, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna be here.
Right.
So like, all right. Yeah. Either I'm right or I'm right. Either I'm right or I win as a captain. One of the two. Pick one.
Yeah, it was on from that moment for sure. But yeah, definitely an amazing team. There's a lot of good teams out there, I want to say as well. And for Arm Wrestling Showcase, we are looking to showcase other teams as well. We want to hear how they run their practices, and yeah, just learn as much as we can about everybody. But I have been to several practices around California, and I think I will always be a diehard Alpha Empire. I love the way this team operates. Derek Smith, you've got an amazing thing going with this team. Very selfless when it comes to the team. Before we get into things with each one of you and how this all started.
Selfless.
Mute your mic again. I like it better when you couldn't figure it out.
Well, Josh, we were talking recently, and so you started the team Nowhere to Run Arm Wrestling in Northern California. Well, I guess you would say more like Central. And I remember you mentioning there was a lot of inspiration from somehow, if you want to break it down for us, how Alpha Empire impacted the way you decided to form this team and operate it.
Yeah, so I definitely got the inspiration from Derek and you guys. I seen the way the team showed up and like you said, the big numbers all the time. I really liked the idea how there was like almost different factions to it, like Alpha East and Central and things like that. And so that was kind of the start of the inspiration. I wanted to have like a Nowhere to Run in several different areas. But it was mainly that when I seen Derek, anytime he had teammates up there, I mean, no matter, what he's got going on and he's high level or not, he's right there, like with you guys, cheering for you guys, coaching you guys, helping you guys. You're all equal. And so that was like the biggest inspiration. I wanted to start something like that where it was like a brotherhood. And so we ran with it, but definitely took, a lot of inspiration from you guys for sure.
Cool. Yeah, and that's really awesome to hear. And I do feel like there is a large outreach element to Alpha Empire. You guys don't charge to do things. We always seem to be having new pullers drop in, and I think they always feel pretty welcome. I'm loving seeing the youngsters coming in too. We've been getting a lot of those. So real quick, we've just got a few people in the chat. We got Johnny Dang, our teammate, saying hello. We got Ill Shots. I don't know if any of you guys know who that is.
It's not Josh or Isai, right? I thought Ill Shots was Josh or Isai, but it's not. Isai is a different one. I forget. Ill Shots, who you is.
Yeah. He says, or she is listening at work. We got Elo saying what's good. We got Grace Bear, Little Bear.
Back.
What's that?
Tell that guy to come back.
All right.
Is that Eric Lopez?
That's Lopez. Oh,
yeah,
man.
it might be. If that's Eric Lopez, then yeah, he goes by Elo. So
yeah, you gotta keep coming back, Eric. I think you
who's that guy?
Practice a few months
Exactly.
ago.
I mean, if Eric was here, he'd be considered an OG too. I mean, he actually just show up.
If he was here,
His hand kung fu is so frustrating.
Yeah, he cheats better than everybody.
Yeah.
Number one hand cheater at practice for sure.
We got Little Bear Grace in here saying Mi Familia. Yes, she's definitely Alpha Empire. And we got Gabriel Young stopping in here saying Alpha Empire is a dope team. We'll be training with y'all this summer. Oh, that's cool. Heck yeah.
Yeah, Gabe's always welcome, man. Come get your ass beat by Junior again. Not a big deal. Thanks for coming through, Gabe. Dude, I talked to Gabe we're on Discord together. I talk to him like almost every day. I give him so much crap about the Junior thing, nonstop. I get it. Gabe's awesome. Gabe's great. He's super strong, and right now he probably beat Junior. I don't know, but I still got to give him crap all the time about it.
Okay, and we also need to give a little shout out to Jamie Sheldon and Natfit, our team sponsor. Definitely, yes, the best nutritional supplements on the market.
woo!
Yes, very good stuff. In fact, the other day, Malia, she had a blind tasting because she's always drinking my big jug of water that has BCAAs in it. And the one time I don't link up with him and I had some other kind or something like that, she hated it. And this time, it had his stuff in it. She's like, I like this one better. It's way better. And it's like, that's right. It's got only the good stuff in it. Really good protein as well. And Leo Landeros here is Mr. Lion Straps. So yeah,
Your lion straps.
Yes, now you can meet the man who has the best arm wrestling straps on the planet. I absolutely
There's
love
something
it. I
we should
don't.
also talk about in this story because the lion straps directly with no Alpha Empire. There's no lion straps. So
Okay, yeah. Well, okay, then we'll get into that in a bit here. So let's kick things off here with Mr. Derek Smith. So once upon a time, you started arm wrestling and you needed a team.
I was about 4 years in, I think, ish when we started the team. I had been so the years prior to actually having a team, there was like one solid team in California, which was the what's it called, Scott Wynn's team, the Arm Bandits, I believe they're called. That was the
That's
LA,
correct.
they're the only consistent practicing every day of the or every like Saturday, consistent team. Every other place in Southern California was just random. Every once in a while you show up at a dude's house, and so the practices were like once every 2 months, month and a half at so and so's house at a pool party or something like that. And so the table time was so random. And then also at the same time, like the information available on the internet was random, a few highlight reels here and there, no consistent training info. Like, so my training, I tell people all the time, for those first few years was just horrible. It was like me watching a couple videos, trying to mimic that, going to practice once every like 2 months and just going all out until I can't move my arms like most of you guys do, like our L2 does at our practice, just go in until you just can't, first guy on the table, last guy off the table, can't move my arms, try and drive home and just trying to soak it up, but there just wasn't enough arm wrestling for me. And so it was getting to the point where, and I was also going through some rough stuff in my life at that time, which was getting me it's hard. There's no one to train with. I don't know if I'm doing it right. I don't know if I'm even getting strong. I'm competing at this time. I don't know how well I'm progressing. I'm like questioning things, right? But I did know that I needed a consistent team. I didn't know teams existed, and my work schedule didn't allow me to go to LA. I always worked on the days they had practice. I couldn't get the time off. And but I knew I needed a team. I needed to get consistent table time. So like I said all the time, like the starting the team, even though like Leo's gonna chime in a minute and say, like, he kind of got me into it. He did. I was wavering, like, what, dude, if I can't get table time, like, what am I doing? Am I even gonna make it in this sport? Like, type of thing. Like, what do I do? And then that's around the time I met Leo. But yeah, definitely, I'm like, oh, cool. There's a guy, right? There's a guy. He'll tell a story about how we met and everything. But I have a guy here that wants to learn about arm wrestling that lives in the city next to me. Cool. There's a guy. There's local. We can make it. Yeah, he's not there yet. He's brand new, but we can make something out of this, right? And so I can start getting consistent. So it was definitely more selfish for sure at the beginning, 100%. I was like, oh, I can get him strong, which will get me strong, so I can move forward. Like, yes, table time, right? And so I'm like, okay, let's teach him everything I know at that point, and then we'll try to start from here. It was like the kind of the origins of it. So and as all arm wrestlers know, you need table time. You have to have table time. You must know what you're doing on the table and get everything conditioned. So, and I kind of realized that, but there's so many things I had to learn after that. There's so much progression to happen after that. It exploded, but definitely started with the selfish Derek trying to get myself stronger. It was definitely the origin for sure. So do you want to stay there? Or you want me to go into everything?
Well, okay. So you got to the point where you brought Leo in. You and Leo started training together. Right. Okay. What happened next, Leo?
Well, first off, Derek is full of shit. I had to drag him back.
Here we
go.
I had to drag him back. He was like, well, I don't know, man. I don't know if I want to practice. It's like, dude, just teach me everything. So he brought me to his house. He taught me everything that he knew at that point, which took 30 minutes. It was all so basic because, I couldn't find anything on the internet either. All I knew was watching Game of Arms and then going to the bars and watching all the guys compete, which is where I met Derek at the Maverick. I think Scott Warren put out a tournament, and my cousin worked at Brew Rebellion pouring beers, and he's like, oh, I know a guy. He's this big giant guy. You can't miss him. His name's Derek. So I go up and introduce myself to Derek, and Derek's like, just get out of here. I don't want to talk to you. He's too busy watching the arm wrestling. He is like focused. It must have been a good match. I don't know who it was because I don't remember, but he was like just sitting there like, yeah, whatever, shut up. So
I didn't say that. I didn't actually say that. He's just,
it was get out of here, peasant. It was get out of here, peasants. I don't have time for you. So
you're beneath me.
Like, I don't want to talk to you. And this is back when Derek was like skinny Derek too. Like he was just tall. So I kind of begged Derek, and I'm like, hey, Ray Cody put on a practice, and a lot of the arm benders were coming down. And I begged Derek to come. I was like, oh, come on, man. He had just worked, his bar shift or bouncing. So he had like a couple hours of sleep. And then, we jump in my car and we drive up to California City. And I think after that, it was kind of like, okay, cool. Derek's like, okay, well, he's practiced now. He's getting it. And maybe we will make the team or something, because he's got someone that went through a practice and kind of was okay getting beat up and, crying in the corner with a beer on my arm. So, after that, we moved the practice to the brewery. I ended up getting a table from Mike Parr, which are the ones that Jamie sells. Things are awesome. And just every Sunday, just came together and beat each other up. I brought my buddy Travis, who I did Muay Thai with back in the day. And he had just gotten, discharged from the Marines. And he came out and drank beer and arm wrestled us. And that's kind of how it started.
There's a few things Leo's not mentioning this. A couple things. Let me add in here. One, me and Leo had met years prior to this. And we didn't even know. It took a while for this to click. Leo had been to my family. He's been to my grandma's house. I had met him at my grandma's house years prior. He dated my cousin. Like, they were very serious. And I would see him at family gatherings. I remember seeing a guy with a ponytail or at my grandma's house. I'm like, I feel like I've seen you before. He dated my cousin. So that was years before we ever met for arm wrestling. And I was like, I've seen you before somewhere. I know I've seen you. So that was an interesting thing. Second, the day we went to that trip to Ray Cote's house, the night before, I literally beat the crap out of Leo, one of Leo's closest friends, in a bar fight. Like, he's like, hey, my friend. I was like, oh man, I got a fight last night. We get in the car. I'm telling him I got in a fight last night at the bar. And he's telling me, oh, my friend was out last night drinking. I go, oh yeah, what's your friend look like? Turns out I fought his friend. He called me in the car on the way to the practice. He goes, you get a fight last night? He goes, yeah, I got beat up by some bastards. And so it was kind of funny because I ended up beating up his friend like the night before. And the brewery bought us our first table. That's the table we still have, the black one, the black Brew Rebellion table. That's the first table, and the brewery paid for it. Because they knew about I wanted to be I was getting into arm wrestling and this and that, and we wanted to start having practices there, and they bought the first Frank Hurst table for us.
That's the table that Derek didn't want to use. It was so pretty, he didn't want to mess it up.
It was pretty, I didn't want to mess it up. But that was before you got the Jamie table, though, wasn't it? We had the Frank Hurst table first.
Yeah, no, you had your table first. And it was pretty, and you didn't want to use it, so you're like, yeah, get your table, Leo. Throw chalk all over it.
We used it. Look at it. We used it. It's destroyed.
Oh, we beat the hell out of it now.
But yeah, I mean, the brewery was super nice. It's right down the street from where I'm at right now in my hometown, and they were super welcoming. And I miss that place, man. Honestly, I think everybody that was there misses that place. But yeah, they were all about having us there, and yeah, come arm wrestle and have beers. Heck yeah, Derek. They were all about it. So yeah, that's definitely the origins where we started 100%. Yeah,
we certainly had beers.
Yeah, sounds like it. And welcome,
We had
Will.
a lot of beers.
Welcome,
Hello.
Will Klingman. Right on. Thanks for joining us. And yeah, we're going to work our way up to Will here in this story. I just want to mention a couple quick things in the chat here. Let's see. We have Gabriel saying, Derek, stop hurting my feelings. I think he's talking about Junior.
Yeah.
Beating him up. And Gabriel actually says to Will, this is to you, Will Klingman better be ready midsummer.
I'm starting
Dang,
that pot
heard that.
constantly. I'm starting that pot on Discord. I constantly am pitting Will and Gabe against each other, saying they're gonna have a match this summer. So that's why I just bring that up.
Oh, love it. Okay, I need to get on there. And Illshots is Isai, our teammate.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Okay, so we've got Derek and Leo in this scenario that has like two dimensions of however this kind of formed.
What year was that, Leo? That happened?
Yeah.
2013.
My first tournament was 2014. Ricky's full of shit.
You know,
Okay.
with age, you know, the mind tends to go and it forgets certain things. But you know, us young cats, we still, you know, we remember dates and stuff like
Well,
that.
you know, you're just wrong, Ricky, because I didn't start arm wrestling until after Game of Arms. Game of Arms came out 2014.
Game of
I
Arms,
have dates.
We talked about it at practice, so yeah. I mean, but you know those old guys, they just, you know. But I let it slide. He's got great straps. I mean, the world's greatest straps. I let that slide. So okay, 2014.
You know, chubby Ricky wasn't so combative.
It's great that no one ever asked me or Lorenzo because they know we don't know any of these dates or times or places. It's great. They can just argue all day.
Yeah, Ricky, you used to be pretty massive at some point. I think by the time I came in, you were already light.
Yeah. At a point, I was 249 pounds. That's the heaviest I believe I ever got.
Good God. Wow.
You would show up after work too with these boots, this tore up shirt, grease stains on it, just pouring out everywhere. You think you look like a, what's that? What you say, like soup, a soup in a Red Bull, just like
sandwich
everywhere, just
Yeah, no.
yeah, soup sandwich. That's right, a soup sandwich.
That was a dark period in my life.
So wait, Lorenzo, who started first? You or Ricky? Because right after Travis, around after Travis, he had his buddies come, and I don't know. Okay, I'm not arguing it.
By like a year.
I always just said, not a year. Hold on, not a year.
Yeah.
No way.
Scott Warren's was
you were part of that team.
one tournament in Chino.
Renzo, do you have any idea of timing? How long Ricky had been on the team before you joined?
He was on Scott Warren's team.
No, but I do know he was on the team for a very long time before I joined.
You said he was on the team for a very long time?
He and Scott were like this.
You guys had already started a team, more or less.
Okay. Oh, that's fine. That's fine. I just have no recollection of that. I just know they started early, like somewhere. They were like 6th, 7th guys to join the team. We had a lot of guys that have left, or that had already left and quit, like that never moved forward. But yeah, so they're, I don't know, like, what would you say? Somewhere around there, 6 guys, 5th, 6th, 7th guys, somewhere like that. Leo, something like that.
When we first started, yeah, and they all kind of came in and went out.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I met Ricky at that tournament. He introduced me to you. When I showed up at the brewery, it was you 3, Travis, and then I think
Evan, was it Evan?
Yeah, it might have been Evan. Evan was there.
No, Evan started when I started, a little bit after me.
Yeah, everyone was after.
Because me and him were supposed to do something together and be the Bash Brothers, but that didn't work out because he was too strong.
So you guys are the guys that basically followed through and helped build this thing then.
Yeah,
okay.
I was the number 1 first rookie because if you ask me, Leo came from a background of fighting. Ricky came just strong. I had nothing, man. I wasn't strong. I had no gym time. I built everything. I just love to arm wrestle.
But a lot of those guys, I feel like they do really well as long as they have the fortitude and everything to stick it out for the long game.
Well, Lorenzo's wrong.
Okay.
Because he works on cars all the time, and he's a wrencher. So no, he has that hand. So he's.
So you feel like he was strong when he came in then?
Yeah, no, he was strong when he came in.
Okay.
Yeah, he's just.
Well, I know he was strong when I came in, but that was like after he had been doing it a while. So, and
that was a long road.
Those early years were sloppy. There was a lot of figuring out, and it was a lot of fun, great times. We were definitely a drinking team with an arm wrestling problem at that time. There was every practice absolutely then all of us, like belligerently thrown over every single practice, no matter what. And then we'd arm wrestle for legitimately arm wrestle for 7 hours. Like just can't move anything, just laughing, walking up hammer drunk into the car. I live 5 minutes away. I don't know how they got home. And
I think the best part about that though is that there wasn't many of us. So there was 3, 4, 5 of us in the beginning that would do
2 tables.
This. Yeah, on 2 tables, but like repeatedly over and over, violently going at each other, just drinking and arm wrestling endlessly. Like he said, from noon till like 6, 7 at night till it's getting too dark till we have to get back home to our families and stuff.
Wow.
And it was just us. So that let us know that we were onto something. We're like, hey, we actually enjoy each other's company. We like what we're doing. Like, let's keep this going because this is something.
And it was at the brewery, so I got us, since I worked there as well, we got a discount on beer, and all the beer was like 12%, like the heaviest beer you can possibly get, right? It's all craft beer. So we're just getting hammered each night. And then I have my second practice each day, basically, when a guy named Pete would show up at the end, when it would get dark, a guy named Pete would show up. There was a guy, and Pete was super strong, right, at the time, and like stronger than pretty much, he was just, me and Pete was pretty stronger than everybody else on the team besides me, and he would show up like 5 hours late, because he'd come from LA. He would drive like 2.5, 3 hours, come out there.
Redondo Beach.
Yeah, he would show up, we're all done, we're drunk, I've been arm wrestling for 4 hours already, and then Pete would show up like, all right, Derek, you ready? And I'm like, oh, and every Sunday I'd have to start with Pete, like halfway through the day, hammer drunk, and it was horrible. And he was so strong. I don't even know if he drank. Yeah, Pete drank. Porn Stash Pete is what we called him because he had the porn stash. And but yeah,
it was glorious.
It was a rough time with Pete when Pete was there. But Pete gave us our second table, the Hulk table, the other black Frank Hurst table we have. That's when he donated that to the team as he left.
Pete Haynes.
But yeah, I mean those times were fun, and it definitely we established a foundation. All the veterans, I mean, most of the veterans started there. But then it was like a lot in terms of as a captain, as trying to create this organized team. I started realizing what we don't want. Like being hammer drunk is fun, and I know Will wished he was there for that time in our team, but
I'm carrying it on till now, honestly.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what was it? Was it Will that came in and just straightened all you guys out?
At some point at the second brewery we ended up going to, at some point it just started getting like not counterproductive, but I mean I guess kind of counterproductive. It's just everybody's getting so drunk that it's becoming messy, and then we had the ladies team by then, and people are crying at this point. Things are just getting sloppy at practice, and then it just started like. And as this goes on, I'm getting more and more serious about the sport, more and more serious about training, and I'm starting to view it from that angle than having fun arm wrestling with the boys. Now I'm like, I really want to do something with this, guys. Like, I want to start training. So my shift in focus is starting to change a little bit in terms of what I want practice to look like. And so then, Lorenzo's falling over the table and stuff. I'm like, dude, guys, what are we doing? Like, this is not looking professional at all. Like, this is looking real sloppy right now. And we had we had a lot of guys. Like Marcus Paul, there's a lot of guys, James, there's a lot of guys I can name who are fully guilty and all this stuff. But yeah, it was a little
big game.
Yeah, so it was just like, all right, that's when we kind of started implementing like a drink cap. I even told the guys that serve beer at the brewery, it was like a 3-drink maximum, right? A 3-beer maximum.
He said 2. It was 2.
Or sorry, when they're craft beers, they're super heavy. So I was like, guys, I've got to have this be serious. Like, we got to train for real. But I'm also learning at this time. I'm realizing like, okay, I want this to be a real thing. I want this to be like the top team. I want this to be the best team possible. So I'm on this whole Derek needs to learn about arm wrestling kick. I am studying. I am messaging Devin Lair. I am trying to learn how to coach arm wrestling while I'm coaching arm wrestling. I'm like trying, you're supposed to get your certificate before you start coaching. I'm coaching while I'm trying to learn. I'm trying so hard to learn. And I'm messaging everybody in the world. I'm just trying to expand my knowledge. I'm going to seminars all the time, Mazarenko seminars, Dimitri Trubin seminars, Ruslan Babayev seminar, Travis Bajan seminar. I'm going to all this stuff. I'm just trying to learn. But when we talk about Lorenzo's upbringing, like there's mistakes with everybody. Stuff I taught at the beginning, which I thought was the way, and I learned later, as I'm growing, the team's growing. And as I'm learning more, I'm like, oh, that was a bad mistake. We shouldn't have done that at the beginning. So there's definitely things that we could have done way more efficiently and better at the beginning, but we grew as a team, which I think is important, which is why we're all so close and still together. Like, these are my best friends, right? These are the guys I hang out with the most, that I talk to the most. And so that's why, and it all stems from, we've been through a lot together. We've traveled, I've seen 18 million different versions of Ricky Ramos. I know, like how we just know each other. We know all of our ins and outs and everybody's family and stuff like that. So I think a lot of that stems, and that's why we're so close. And I feel bad because a lot of times the guys say practice feels cliquey with the veterans, like we hang out together too much. And I get it. It's just we've been around each other for so long. We just know everything about each other. So, but I try to be a little more open to the new guys coming in and try to not be cliquey at practice if we can help it.
Oh, I'm mean to everybody. I don't.
But I mean,
spread it around.
If he's not mean to you, that means he doesn't like you.
That's right.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Well, yeah, well, first off, to me, the vibe I was getting as I was coming in was that these guys that know each other really well, and that it's easy for them to talk to each other and everything, they're the ones that stuck out the marathon. They earned it. And so I kind of respected that. But in terms of like how you treat the rest of the team, I watched it with others, not just myself when I came in. But what's really interesting is between you core members that helped form this team, I feel like part of what makes it really great is you all add a certain dynamic to it, because I think of you as the coaches of this team. Obviously, we've got the captain, Derek, but each of you guys, I feel like, are the ones that embrace all the newcomers that come in, and they try to only pull with you guys starting out, learning how to do things and pull safe before they're starting to pull with each other and all that. But each one of you guys, like I in my head, when I think Ricky, I think Tricky Ricky, super strong, but very articulate. And
Pretty Ricky.
Right.
Prettiest boy I know.
That too. But yeah, like there's in terms of the coaching itself and the styles, and even how you talk to people, you all add a very special dynamic. I think that's important to all the newcomers that come in. And yes, Leo, you say shit how it is, and boy, you gave me tons of shit when I first came in. Usually, it was to stop being such an idiot, Kane. You stop polling for 5 minutes or something. And I didn't listen, and I'd be injured for like, I think I'm still injured from that time. But yeah, and Leo, not Leo, Lorenzo, you are like very, very welcoming. I feel like you anytime like there's
love, man.
Yeah, you bring the love.
That's really what
that's
I
right.
want to embrace. I love everyone. I've been through some dark times in my life, so I'm on a thing now, like every day is a positive for me. Anytime I get to see my friends with you guys is a plus for me. So that's what I want to embrace, and I just want to have a good time anytime I'm arm wrestling. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then Will, we all just love Will. Will's just strong and fun. But the strong part of him is very frustrating because he's this skinny 165 guy that will just beat up on a lot of people much heavier than that.
I think Will's frozen.
Yeah.
Say something, Will.
or he's very stoic right now. He's just
he got stuck.
Oh yeah. He
We'll wait for him to bounce back in here. But I'd love to hear his perspective of how things were when he came in. When would you guys say it was? Like, how big was the team about when Will came in?
So that was second brewery. The brewery we were at, they ended up doing really well, and they wanted to expand and they needed a bigger building. So they bought a brewery in San Bernardino, a couple cities away, and we moved headquarters over there. By the time we went there, we were rocking like 3 or 4 tables, I think, consistently staying at the brewery. And the team was bigger. I mean, the Polacheks were there by then. The women's team was cracking off by then. I mean, I would say, how long were we at the first brewery? A year or two?
Yeah, it wasn't too long, but it was a decent time. I would say probably about like a year and a half.
Yeah.
So yeah, about a year and a half. Then we go to the big brewery, and that's where we meet Will. Will shows up with Dennis Howard to drink. They're having a beer, and they're like, "Oh, arm wrestling." That's kind of how he kind of moseyed over to us.
I'm arm wrestling junior, watching them, and Dennis will not stop watching us. I'm like, "Come on, guys! I know you guys want to try." Will was the first one to shut it down. He was like, "Nah, I'm a pitcher. I don't want to hurt my arm. I don't need this in my life." As he got more drunk and as Dennis started arm wrestling, he came on the table.
Where's Will? He's here, but he's not here. Will, can you hear us? No, damn. This is where Will should be jumping in, telling us his origin story.
That's right.
Like I said, sir,
Get in here, Will.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm trying. The
we
service
can hear
is
you.
bad right here.
We can hear you right now.
Okay, sorry. So what did I miss for like a
Tell us
minute or two?
where you started. Where were you at when you started? Your first day. When was that? What happened?
I was telling him you were eyeballing me, and I cleaned you up on the table. That's what I told him.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. That first day I was pretty strong. It was the second practice that I lost everything, but I pretty much like I just I came with Dennis. You know, he got me over there. He said he was having a bad day, and I worked right by the brewery. He said come through to drink, and I was like, all right, I got lunch, so I go, and I ended up seeing you guys, arm wrestling, and I thought it was pretty cool. And I mean, I didn't think it was like that cool because I was just thought, a bar with arm wrestling, like whatever. I've never really been to a bar, but it sounds like some shit you would do at one. And I didn't think too much of it, but then they looked more organized than just a random people just, arm wrestling. And then I got enough drinks in me that I was like, you know what, like, let me try this. Right. And I think the first person I pulled was actually like, I don't know if it was Lorenzo, or I know it was either him, Lorenzo, or him.
Oh no.
Will!
Will!
Oh God, Will!
Oh no.
Oh man.
There he is.
Oh my God, this is annoying. I'm sorry.
Right.
Classic Will. Hot mess.
I don't even know what you guys heard. I could have been talking for 5 minutes.
The
And
first person you pulled
Just cut out like 30 seconds ago.
Yeah, like you cut off.
Oh shit! I mean, All right, I'll try to do this quick. It was probably Lorenzo. It could have been Kevin Polchek. It was probably fucking, Gage. Gage was strong as shit when I first met him, but like,
So he's weak now.
I don't know, man. Huh?
So Gage is weak now.
You said
Is that
Gage
what I
is
heard?
weak?
I'm asking you. You said he was strong.
Yes.
Oh,
Why? I haven't seen him in 2 years, so I know he's strong. There's no way Gage isn't strong. It's like not possible.
Text him right now.
Oh,
Well,
you bastard.
We've also got the Schmo in the chat saying hello. And Josh, Johnny Dang is asking if you guys, if Nowhere to Run is going to be coming to a practice anytime soon. And I don't know, just general stuff about your team, if you have any new members or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, we have a few new members. We're definitely going to be down there in a couple of weeks for the SoCal Classic for the Florida Cali thing. After that, we'll make it down to one of the Anaheim practices, probably coming up soon. Casey just got back from his, crazy slap fight, so he wants to get on the road and start arm wrestling again. So I told him come back home where it's safe. But yeah, so we're definitely going to get down there soon. We love getting out there and getting with all the different teams. I was going to add to what you guys were saying earlier about that. One of my favorite things about this sport is that all these teams that are serious teams, it's like a family. I mean, they go to each other's weddings, they go to each other's birthdays, they're lifelong friends. And so, yeah, I mean, that's like the coolest thing is once you do find like your group or whatever, it's usually, the ones who are consistent and stick through it, because it's a certain type of dude who can keep arm wrestling. Usually, it's a pretty good bond, and you find brothers, for life. So, and sisters,
Absolutely. And speaking of brothers, we got J Webb Fitness, Justin Webb in the chat. Miss your brother, get back to practice. He's one of our teammates. Have you been getting over to the East Alpha Empire's practices? Let us know. I'm going to be at this Sunday's practice with Derek. Drop by and bring some of the East guys.
And some cookies.
Yeah. Oh, so good.
Hey, those cookies that he makes are delicious.
Oh, you have them?
Pretty amazing.
Oh, of course. We bunked up at the LA Fit Expo, and yeah, he was like telling me his whole process with the brown butter, and he did this and that and cooled it down before he cooked. I was like, okay, bro, I tried them. I was like, I could see there was some work put into those cookies. Delicious for sure.
And Justin, that's saying a lot, because didn't you used to be like a celebrity chef or something? Josh?
Yeah, so I was a celebrity chef for about 5.5 years. All around the world.
Yeah, man, at the rental house for North vs. South,
Harmony, Snoop Dogg,
Josh was holding it down. He was telling me I was cooking tuna all wrong. Like I learned so much shit. All right. So, hey, Josh, do you have any of the topics up in front of you?
I did. I mean, okay. I remember basically what they were.
All right. Well, I'll field the first couple here. So we went over how Alpha Empire pretty much started and formed. And I don't know, maybe first before we get into the topics, in terms of all the successful things that a team can do. I understand that, you guys were starting to realize the things that you were doing wrong, maybe drinking, maybe you need to drink a little less beer and take things serious. Derek, you started talking to, doing research, how different people train and all that. What was the defining moment where you guys felt like this is really coming together and everyone's kind of falling into their slots in terms of, the key guys that form this? When was that moment where you really felt like this was working?
That Bakersfield tournament. That's when when we all had our jerseys and Naughty was there and Gage was there.
Oh man,
that was a good one.
I feel like that was because I think that was when we first actually got all of our jerseys together. The same time we were taking all the team pictures.
So we all took a picture.
Yeah, I feel like that was a big moment for us. I feel like that was a big event. Leo, you were there, right?
Was I even there? I don't even think
I don't know.
there.
I don't think I was there.
How many Bakersfield tournaments? Well, you were off and on again sometimes. So Leo's off and on again story with the team. He's on again right now. But there was a time where it's, you know, we'd see Leo every couple months. There was a little section there.
Yeah, what year was that in Bakersfield?
2015.
15? There we go. 2015.
Oh, so that didn't take long. If you guys started in 2014, or some of you say 2013.
It was
that must have been
2014.
right before I started. Then.
It was right before you started. Yeah, that was. I just thought that was a big one. That was the first time we were an organized team, where I felt like like I said, we got the jerseys and we were taking team pictures together, and I don't know, for me, at least that's in my perspective. That one felt like we're an organized team. It was the first time feeling really kind of organized to me.
First time we got the polos that we wanted. We had a symbol we were all proud of. We had our last names on our shirts, man. Like, that was crazy.
Yep. Yeah.
Because I didn't get a team shirt until Arizona.
I forced him to wear it and took a picture with him.
Yeah.
He could have had one, whatever. That's what I'm saying. It's all on him. It's not nobody else to him. It's always.
And he drove all the way there by himself.
I sure did.
In
a car with no AC.
Oh, man.
And all the way home by yourself too, that same night?
What was that?
All the way home by yourself too, that same night, huh?
I sure did.
James,
Then I had Derek calling me going, "Hey, can Ryan Bowen stay at your house?"
Jaden's in the chat too now.
Oh, my man Jaden.
I love Alpha Empire's jersey. You know, we can all get t-shirts to represent, but I just remember how big of a moment that was when Derek and Ricky drove up. Ricky, you and I were going to the Tulsa tournament. We were about to travel, but Derek made a special trip up just to give Malia and I our first jerseys, and it was a big deal. It was like, it felt like earning a black belt, even though we weren't like black belts, but it was like a representation of, like, you know, it feels like our time and efforts paid off and everything like that. I think that's a really cool thing. Yeah,
I want those moments. I like those moments. I think those are important moments to have, and that's why every time we get a jersey, it's not something I take lightly. It's something where I feel like if they're going to be in it, they're with us. Like they're going to be here for years. They've been here. Like they're cemented in. And like we've tried at times to quantify that and put it exactly. You're here for exactly this long. You win this many tournaments. We tried doing that, but I feel like there's ways around that, and that gets weird. I feel like once I know, and I'll talk to the guys, but once we know, like, oh, he's one of us. Like he's not going anywhere. That's our boy. Then it's time to give him a jersey. And but even if it's like someone's been here with us off and on for 2 years, but not really showing up, but kind of toe in, but not really with us, then I might not even get him a jersey 2 or 3 years. It depends. I just need to know. I need to get that vibe. We need to know you're with us. And once you do, then it's speech time. It's everybody pay attention time. This is a big deal. It's a big deal for us, and hopefully it's a big deal for the person as well. You know, because it's important to us, man. This is something we put a lot of time and effort into, and something we take very serious. Obviously, we dedicate every Sunday of our lives to this team. So,
absolutely,
you've been doing it for a long time, Derek, and that leads to one of our topic questions. What do you think is a good way to coach a new arm wrestler? Like, let's say year one, things that they should or shouldn't do for safety, for gaining strength, whatever it might be. What do you think is the best way to coach somebody that's brand new starting?
Well, generally, one thing we've always started with as a team, we're kind of like, because you got to remember, pretty much all these guys, every guy on this call, and most of the guys on the team, like 99% of the guys on the team, I started. The day one, I gave them, most of them, all the conversation, that how to not break your arm conversation, and then the how we're going to start. Now, that first how we're going to start conversation has changed a little bit over the years, the starting in a hook and how to square up and do all those things. But generally, we all start at the same base. And so Ricky and Lorenzo and Leo have heard me give the same conversation 8 million times. So I know they can give the same conversation as well. Now, it might come with different words, but now I know we're all on the same level, though. We're all coming from the same direction. We all know how we're going to start people. Now, that being said, I think that's an important thing for a team, is to make sure you're all on the same page, right? It might come with different words, because like I would explain something to Leo when he was new and he didn't get it. And then somebody else would say the same thing, but just with different words. And Leo would be like, oh, it makes sense. Right. So sometimes it's good.
That's 100% accurate.
Yeah. It's good to hear from different people in different ways, even if it's the same message. And so I feel like our team is, especially all the veterans, are on the same page. We all know, oh, you're day one guy. Here we go. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. Like how we're going to do this, right? So I think that's a big thing for a team coaching new guys. Now, I would say safety is first. I mean, it should be. One of my favorite stats of our team is we've never in 9 years had an arm break on our team ever. Right. And that's such an awesome stat. I tell all new guys that. They come in worried, I'm worried about getting hurt myself. Well, we've never had an arm break in 9 years. So, and we give the exact same speech to every new guy, and I've never had an arm break. So I like that stat. That's a good. We've had an arm break at our practice when it was like a big meetup from different teams, and 2 guys that were not on our team in a corner. One of them broke their arm, but I hadn't even met them. I didn't know who they were. There was just so many tables. It was chaos there that day. So, but that wasn't on one of our guys. So no one I gave that speech to is broken arm. And then I had a buddy who broke his arm, but he was before we started the team. So within our team, no one's ever broke their arm. But
hey, Ricky, where you at?
We'll go downstairs right now.
I felt wrong. I'm hanging out with you guys, and I didn't have a beer. It just felt weird.
It just feels natural, doesn't it?
Yeah, I feel better
wrong
now.
if I went and got one.
So anyway, here we go. The safety, number one. We've decided to start people with hooking. We always start. A lot of teams start with top rolling. There's a lot of arguments to start people with top rolling. I get it.
How did we figure that out?
Well, there's still arguments. There's still solid arguments for starting people with top rolling. But a lot of the way I describe it to the new guys is that if you start in a style which is all based off like leverage and speed and small advantages, moving your fingers, things like that, that you end up leaving practice with a sense of, oh, next week I should move my thumb. Next week I should go a little taller. Instead of I go home and I just need to get stronger, right? So we'd rather have people leave practice thinking I need to get stronger than leave practice thinking, oh, I just need to slide my elbow. I don't need to go to the gym all week. Just next week I'll slide my elbow and I'll start winning. Right? We'd rather build a foundation of a strong mindset of I just always need to get stronger. I'm just too weak. That's the best way to look at arm wrestling. Just continue to want to get stronger all the time, and then things will move forward. But if you always think it's just a small gain to be had, then it's not. I feel like it doesn't build a foundation of strength in a predominantly strength sport, right? So I feel like that's something we learned, right? And so we use Lorenzo.
It took us a year and a half to learn that.
Use Lorenzo as the example for that. It's just like, man, it's just everybody's always running, but no one's in the gym. We're drinking all week, going to and just at practice. That's it, trying top rolling, but no one's ever in the gym lifting anything serious at the beginning. So we kind of switched that, but there's a lot of reasons. I mean, I could talk for an hour about why we start people on hook or we're starting people on top roll, but we start people hooking, just trying to get them stronger, get going right at the joints, get going right at the arms, conditioning faster and harder rather than evading and running from this pain and pressure. We go right at it, like ripping a Band-Aid off. There's a lot of reasons we start doing that. And people say it's more dangerous. It is. We've never had an arm break, right? So we pay attention to the angles and how we're going to do it, which is one of the nice things. Because I mean, having practiced at my grandma's house now, and I know I can leave, and I know I trust Leo, Ricky, Lorenzo, all these guys to run practice. No one's going to get hurt. We all know what to look for. Everybody knows what we've been doing forever. Everybody should be on the same page. There's always veterans around, and I give that same speech to all the new guys. Hey, new guy, here's the safety speech. Here's how to hook speech, and I'll start pointing out all the veterans. You can practice with that guy, that guy, that guy, or that guy over there, and that's it. And these are all veteran guys I trust. Doesn't mean they have been there for years. Just means these are people I trust their words, that they understand that they're going to worry about safety and things like that, right? And that's the biggest compliment I get from always every visitor we have from our team. They leave saying, "Man, I love practicing your team. It's like people are here to train and they're actually here to work on things and take things serious and like move forward. It's not just here a beat up session like a lot of other teams are. We just go there and kill each other and that's it." Everybody says they feel like our team's there to grow and to learn and to work on weaknesses and to get better, which I didn't even know. It just happened because we're on the same page. We're all here to get better. I mean, because we have all these veterans, we're all here to help people improve. Oh, you're hooking like an idiot, Leo would say. Or I would say, hey, you can slide your elbow on that hook or whatever, but we're all on the same page. We all want to get this person better. We all want to get ourselves better. We want everybody to progress so our team looks more badass when we start winning at tournaments, right? So it's kind of the same idea. But I think that in terms of talking to new guys, I think that's all important, to be on the same page with all your veterans, map it out, whether even with different language, and then start building a foundation. A foundation is everything in terms of building an arm wrestling. Right. So and what they learn first, they learn best, just like with everybody and everything. So those first couple speeches are really, really important and that's why I always make sure I do it. I always make sure the first speech, that's me. Okay, I got this, guys. Hold on. It's time to go have the speech with the new guys. So I want to make sure they hear these key things. And then because right when you release them, I give them the speech, the safety, I give them how to hook, and then I tell them, hey, you're probably going to quit. I used to invest 8 hours into each new guy at every practice, and then they would quit 2 practices later. So I wasted 8 hours each practice talking to these new guys. So now I tell them, here's safety, here's how to hook. Now, these are all your veterans, go have fun. As you show up to practice more, I will, as you put more into the team, and then I'll put more into you, right? Type of thing. You prove that you're going to be here time and time again. I'll start putting more and more into you, as will the team. But I know the moment I release this person from talking to them on the table, the very first speech, they're going to go to everybody, and everybody's going to start teaching them the top roll, and besides the veterans, but everybody else will be like teaching them the one move they learned last week, even though he's a new guy. People are just going to start teaching this dude random crap. So I need to have that first speech is super important, I think, for new guys, and it has to be someone confident that knows exactly what they plan to do with this new guy and how to build the foundation, because the foundation's everything.
Yeah. I've been all over the place doing, a bunch of people's practices, trying to meet all the different teams. I've seen, lots of teams where they call out when the guy is brand new and they tell him, hey man, he's brand new, be easy and teach him. And then I've been to some places where they sign a waiver and just go at it and do what you want, and they'll let the brand new guy put themselves in terrible positions. What are some of the biggest mistakes that you see through practices that people might have?
Oh, can I get in here? One thing that I've been noticing lately that I've been teaching everybody, and I'll ask them if at their other practices, does anybody teach you how to lose? They're all, what do you mean? Do you know how to lose? Do you know how to lose and not hurt yourself? Because if you're losing like this, bro, you're going to hurt yourself. Square up your arms, let your arm open up, and live to fight another fucking day and get stronger. We're at practice,
Right. Yeah. And yeah, absolutely. And before we do get into some of the, I think it was the common mistakes that you were bringing up, right, Josh? I also want to capitalize on one thing here. As far as being somebody that's just gotten past these first two phases, those are the things that stand out to me the most. I feel like that, I don't know if it separates us, but just the things that I really appreciate the most about how Alpha Empire runs practices and brings in new pullers. When you mentioned safety, absolutely. And the weird part that crosses over with the safety is I also feel like it translates to strength as well. Because if you're pulling in a safe position, keeping your arm inside the shoulder, it also teaches you to stay tight and, in a subliminal way, learn how to access more of what you have instead of being that newbie just, doing this kind of thing. But also what I love about that second factor, teaching people in a hook. I remember the thing that stood out that you said to me, Derek, was you need to condition your elbow, and let's just expedite that process. And I remember I had a hard time with that because I wanted to start competing early and wanted to use the top roll or whatever, it felt more comfortable for me at that time. And I learned my lesson like so quickly. I was like, damn, Derek and all these guys were like, right, because I was still struggling so much with elbow pains and injuries in those areas because I hadn't really fortified that yet first. And jumping back on that train, it changed everything. So yeah, like as somebody that I still consider myself new, those I think are amazing factors. It's what I appreciate the most.
I heard something cool one time. I heard somebody say arm wrestling is like being a really good barbecue smoker person. Like they'll tell you how to do it exactly to a T, but it's up to you to be able to do it.
Right.
Everybody will give you all the answers, what to do, how to win, everything. But if you can put in the work and dedicate yourself to do it and deal with the pain.
Right. And
I think that's the reason we drink.
Yeah. And that's kind of what's interesting about those two factors is I feel like they're leveled down to just very fundamental concepts that you can't really, throw a wrench in. They're important. They're very important. And if you have that foundation, then that's where all these little tricky techniques and all these like smoker specialists, come in and they try and tell you a million different things. And you got to kind of like, there's another thing Derek told me that stuck out was people are going to tell you a bunch of crap, put it on the shelf, and as you get the fundamentals, you'll find what to pull down from that shelf and what applies to you. But going back to what you were talking about, Josh, so you were asking, what was it? Biggest
just some of the
mistakes?
common mistakes that everybody notices at other practices or at people's practices that maybe we can highlight so people learn and maybe don't do them.
I've traveled a lot. I would say it's definitely the safety thing is be number one. Everybody just kills each other. The biggest thing when I go to practices and I've noticed is like it's just a murder fest. And it's just like, I mean, that's the most common one for sure. It's running a practice. We definitely don't have this dialed in all the way, but we're okay at it. Is that when you go to a practice, if you're the weaker guy, and if you're the weaker guy 5 seconds after you put your elbow down on the table, right? For whatever reason, you could be too tired, and normally you're the stronger guy, but right now I'm the weaker guy. So in any situation, whoever the weaker guy is, they need to speak up. They need to speak up on the table. You need to tell that stronger guy, hey, I can't move you. First off, let me try to work. Like, let me try to, okay, yeah, you can blast me each time. That just hurts my arm, and it's no challenge for you. It's not getting you a lot stronger. Let me see let me get my cup, and then let's see what you can do. Or let me, you have to speak up. But if you don't speak up, the stronger guy is just going to keep smashing your arm, keep blowing your arm open and potentially causing injury or setting your training in the gym back even further. And so I think the weaker and the newer guys need to speak up. All new and weak guys have to speak up on the table. And it's hard, especially for the new guys that are so bashful, but you have to be like, yo, hey man, I'm just learning. I'm trying to figure out how to get into a hook still, or whatever you are as a new guy. They have to learn to speak up. That's really big. Communication is massive on a team. It's everything, or else you're just gonna get blasted. Because in the end, if I wanted to be just a baddest arm wrestler, not help anybody, just worry about me, just be really selfish about it, I could just go blast everybody, practice, be super offensive, not let anybody work, just work on my move over and over and over again, and go home, call it a day, and I'd be getting strong as hell. Right. But and you got to remember, a lot of people are there just for themselves. You have to speak up. And if you don't speak up, closed mouths don't get fed, man. It's really prevalent on an arm wrestling table. And I think that's something a lot of teams don't do. The Ottawa High Hookers, Devin's team, they actually released the guidelines of how to run their practice. We've taken that guidelines for our team. We changed some of the wording. We added a couple of little things we liked, and we put it out on our team page on Facebook as well about how to run practices and things like that.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
And how about the amount? Is there something that you've noticed? Is there too much practice? I mean, I know some guys do it every 2 weeks. Some guys do it every week. Some guys
ask Kane about that.
Almost 3 times a week. I mean, what do you think? Is there I mean, you've been in the sport a decade at least. I mean, what do you think over your time that you picked up? Is it too much? Is it too little? What's a good number?
I'm not sure, man. I don't know. Ricky Lorenzo, y'all get in on this, man. I know I'm used to these podcasts.
Yeah,
I'll talk for 4 hours.
Anybody.
Well, I mean, you like to talk, so we
I know. If you don't stop me, I'll just keep going. I can talk forever.
I'll take this.
We know.
Go ahead, Leo.
I'll take this. I got this. So it depends on your strength level. If you're someone that's big and strong like Derek, you can't go practice hard every week. It just doesn't work. If when I first started, I was going to 3 practices a week because I had zero muscle. I wasn't getting any rookie pains. I was getting a lot of table time, but I wasn't getting broken down. I wasn't hurting. So it was feasible. I wasn't strong enough to hurt my tendons at the time. Now, there's no way I can do that. So as you progress and you get stronger, you have to kind of taper it down. And, you can get maybe a week here. A week is generally pretty good, unless you're going into a tournament. Every other week is really solid if you like lifting and supplementing that way. But if you just like to stay really dynamic on the table, I think every week is just fine. You start going to 2 practices a week, you start breaking down a lot more. I mean, it's great for moving on the table and knowing where you're going and feeling people, but I think a week's probably where you should be at. Every other week if you're a heavy lifter.
And not to say it can't be done, because it can be done. Because how do people do 2-a-days? You know what I mean? They don't work out the same muscle every single time they're going to the gym. And you don't have to hit the same thing every time you do a practice, right? You can work on hooking one practice. You can work on top roll the next practice. You can work on side pressure. You can do a whole bunch of different things and not break down the thing that is hurting you at the time. I learned that real quick for 2 months doing 2 practices. I did one on Sunday, one on Thursday when we had the brewery open in San Bernardino. We would do Thursday practices, and it was just real light. Pretty much the core guys, Ricky would show up, Leo would show up, some of the Polacheks, Will. But we knew what we hit on Sunday, we would do something different on that Thursday. And we're not going all out. We're just working on things. But I'll tell you what, that for me, I got the most gains out of that. Plus I was going to the gym, but I was not trying to do the same thing I was doing every Sunday. You have to be smart about it. You have to plan it out, and you have to know your body and see what you're weak at. And everybody will tell you, see, our team is very honest. They'll be like, I don't feel you right here. I don't feel you right here. And who cares if it hurts your feelings? Shit, get stronger.
Yeah.
My man.
What do you think, Ricky?
It depends. With me, I mean, everyone knows here, when it comes to arm wrestling, I like to look at it as a science, a science and an art, because, it's one and the same when it comes to this, because you don't know a guy's background. You don't know what he does for a living. Does he sit in an office chair all day, or is he out there, doing construction? How are his joints, how well are they fed? What's his life like? That's why I think the whole team really likes to dig into each person, find out at first, are you really in it, or is this just like, oh, I wanted to check it out, because you can always see that spark when someone wants to, actually like get in it. So that'll let us know how to judge what route we should, pretty much choose for them to give them the best route and the most beneficial route. So I mean, when it comes to practicing table time and all that, it's, site specific depending on the guy. And that's why I try to really focus on teaching people how to read themselves. Like, you'll have this one guy, like, everyone will go to a Devin Larratt seminar, right? And say, okay, that's how I do it. When I don't exactly agree with that. I say, what if this guy has, a 10-inch forearm and, he's 5 foot tall? He can't pull like Devin. No, there's no way. No matter how great of a teacher anybody is, they cannot teach you how to use your own body as well as you can teach yourself to use your own body. We can give you the outline of what we think you should do and then work from there. How are you progressing? How are you doing next week? Are you feeling like your elbows are burnt out? Are your biceps just flopping around? And then go pretty much from there, and then work each separate angle. And then that's where I feel like we really shine, because we aren't really a team. We're more of a family. We work with each other on every single aspect of life. And then when we get into arm wrestling, it's a comfort zone. So, I mean, for us, I would say it's on a, site to site basis. So, yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I don't do much gym work at all, right? But I do like a lot of field work. We're on 10 acres, and so I do like work at home. But other than that, it's just arm wrestling. I arm wrestle like 3 days a week sometimes, but always very light. I never max out. Like, I always just train and work. And try to learn. And so I'm never leaving, like you guys are talking about in the very beginning, when I first met people, like, we just went as hard as we could. And I had those pains for weeks, and it was like crazy, but I've kind of like learned to find a medium to where I can just arm wrestle all the time at a lighter workout pace. And that way I don't have to stop. And so that's like helped me. I might not be climbing like as fast as the guy who's, benching all this weight and doing all this crazy shit, which I'd love to do that. I just, I don't have that motivation for some reason. But yeah, so yeah, I believe it's different for every single person as well. Yeah. That's what I was asking. I just
well said, both of you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you both are kind of saying similar things, and it really does have to be tailored to each person. There's maybe some fundamental ways you can look at it, but yeah, so some people need to build certain areas. Some people have already a messed up area, but Will, what is your take on that? Like, and how about in terms of between you're starting out in arm wrestling and where you're at now, has your table time frequency changed?
That's a horrible question for me, because I'm all over the place. Like, when I started though, like, I was like maybe 3 years out of high school, so I already had like 10 plus years of like baseball and pitching on my arm, so my right was always like good to go. So I could do like 2 a week, 3 a week while working out. I never really had to take a break. But it wasn't for like maybe 3 years of already being in arm wrestling that I kind of like slowed down a lot. you know, like shit just came up and I just did things differently and I, you know, didn't take it as seriously. And then for like the past 2 years, like all I do is pretty much arm wrestle. Like I've been working out now for like a good like 3 weeks consistently, like actually working out. But for the past 2 years, like I would just go to practice either every week or, you know, just, I mean, I would always ask Derek if we have practice, which is kind of funny because he hates it. And I don't
Post
go
it on
to Anaheim
Facebook every.
practices. I know, man. I checked that, but I ain't checking it right. But anyway, like yeah, now, you know, like I said, I didn't work out for 2 years, just arm wrestle, because I mean I've already done it for like 5+ years, so it's like I didn't really need to work out. Plus, like all my jobs are physical, so it's like I'm technically working out, just not the way normal people do, I guess.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It just always fluctuates, like depending on what you're doing or what you've done. So like I don't know. It's kind of difficult, but right now I'm working out consistently, going hard as fuck, and arm wrestling every Sunday, and trying not to kill myself too much on Sunday to where I can't lift throughout the week. You know, maybe one practice or so I'll just go all out. Like whenever I pull Derek, I go balls to the wall and I try to get his ass as hard as I possibly can. And he never knows why. He's like, why don't you work on this, do that? And I'm like, dude, because I can't fucking move you. It's not very often that I get to arm wrestle someone that I just physically have nothing for, you know? So it's a nice static, you know, it's like fucking arm wrestling a pole, you know, you can't move it, but you try. So,
I can move it.
Nah. And I think that's important because a lot of people can come into this sport strong, you know, or like beat everybody at the bar or whatever. And I feel like if you come in to an actual team practice and you're just, you know, annihilating everybody, I think you'd get bored or just, I don't know. But being able to be exposed to like, oh shit, there's some like levels here. Or, oh shit, this like guy that's got, you know, 30 pounds less than me, you know, just smack me around, or I can't even move this person. And there's so many of those levels. It really is, I think, one of the fascinating parts about this sport.
If I had the losses I have under my belt are the things that whatever level I am at or whatever knowledge I do have, that's why I've gotten that. I mean, I feel bad for guys that come to the sport super strong. I really do. Like, why learn? Why even try to learn new moves? Why even change anything, right? Obviously, you think you're strong enough and you're successful right away. Like, why ever adapt? Or if you don't have that struggle, that's where you grow, right? In the struggle of losing, getting your ass beaten. I got to learn. I got to grow. I got to get stronger. And like, I've flown around the world. I've gotten my ass beat on the biggest of the biggest stages. And but that's why I am whatever level I am today. I mean, I've been to worlds and got beat up and embarrassed myself with an American flag on my back. Like, I've done this stuff, right? No joke. I mean, I didn't really tell anybody this, but behind the scene, that first worlds I went to, all this fundraising, the team did a ton of fundraising for me. I'm selling shirts. We're having concerts at the brewery for me. Everybody, I'm begging people for money to help get me to Malaysia. I go out there, I get my ass kicked. I go behind the stage. Derek's crying. I was crying. I was so embarrassed. And I felt like I let so many people down and let myself down. I didn't know the level. I went out there to find the level. I found out the level, but like, I was just so embarrassed. I was so embarrassed that I let everybody down. And that stuff has happened to me so many times over the years. I mean, with all these losses I've had, I felt like I've let these guys down and you so many times. And that's what hurts the most. Every time I do something bad and I don't perform, I feel like I let the team, that's what cuts the deepest, is when I start thinking about how much I let the team down. And when I go home and I start thinking about that stuff and training, like that's one of the biggest things for moving forward and improving, is that like I wouldn't have any of the success I have had without the team. I wouldn't know the things, my arms wouldn't be the arms that they are without my team. And so like, yeah, I mean, that's the solid foundation. So I owe all that to these guys. And so, I mean, I think that's something that's super important that people should highlight, is that losing is what moves you forward. I wouldn't get rid of my losses for the world. I mean, and I still plan to move forward and achieve all my dreams in arm wrestling with all these losses. All these scars are going to be the things that propel me to the level I want to get to. So.
Oh man, if we put our team losses up as a whole, how much times we've all lost? I think between all of us, when we first started, bro, like, we've taken our lickings as much, but what do we always say? We're always down. Alphas never say no.
Hey, and L is not a loss. It's a lesson.
Yeah. But and
Nah,
one
it's a
reality,
loss, bro.
It's a loss.
It's a loss.
It's a loss.
Take it.
We
Own
don't
it.
sugarcoat
It's a loss, but own
nothing,
it.
bro.
You got to take that
But
loss.
see-
Let it hit.
see,
Let it
the
sink.
Yeah.
thing-
We don't
the thing,
sugarcoat
though-
nothing.
Hey, but the thing about us though is we lose as a team, we win as a team. We're not like other, teams where you see they're individuals that just happen to all be together. Like when we lose, like when any one of us loses, you see the whole team swarm around that person. What happened? What do you think went wrong? What do you need? Do you need help with something? Like we all automatically start figuring out. And when one person wins, even if it's a single match, we swarm that person. Oh, dude, you looked amazing. This looks so strong. You did right here. We even might give, even if the guy won, we'll still be like, hey, you looked a little shaky right here, but hey, you pulled it off and that was amazing. And, we keep going with stuff like that.
I mean, I've said it for years. I don't know what's I get more elated with, when I win a match or when Kane makes a sweet ass adjustment that we've been talking about and takes off some win. Like, dude, I honestly don't know what feels better to me. Like when I see someone on the squad, regardless of doing something and overcoming an obstacle, especially if it's something we've been working on, and I see him make that adjustment, I'm like, yeah, I get so excited. I'm so happy. I'm so elated in that moment when the guys are killing it. Oh my God. I don't know what's better, when I win or when I see the team win. It's the best feeling. So
When the team wins, it's better.
yeah, we have
You know how many times
It's always when the team wins.
You know how many
It's
times
always
we
when the
just
team
show up
wins.
to watch people arm wrestle so we can drink and just cheer our freaking heads off for them?
yeah.
Every time.
Absolutely.
And then I think the thing is too, we know how important to each one of us arm wrestling is. So when we lose, we have this support system where Derek knows how seriously I take things and where my life is and shit like that. So if I'm losing and he knows I'm taking it bad, he'll give me a call later on. Get out of your head. Stop being stupid. Get back in the gym. Let's just get back to it. You know what I mean? Get me out of however I'm feeling or whatever. Fucking Leo, Ricky, everybody, man. Like we know each other so well now. And honesty, I think, is the best thing that we can convey, because if you're not being honest and open to the people that you're around all the time, what are you doing?
Absolutely.
Even if you're not feeling good that day, like, dude, I'm not feeling good. I feel like, fuck you. Don't talk to me right now. Cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I think
Or
another
sometimes-
thing, when you go like 2 and out in a tournament, and that sucks. It all sucks. But being part of the team is getting out of your head and cheering for your boys. Just because you're out doesn't mean the rest of the guys out. You just got to get out of your head and start cheering for the people.
Yep.
Absolutely.
You can't sit there and have a pity party, feel sorry for yourself, and take your ball and go home. You got to get out there and be part of the team. And everyone on the team is really good about that.
We give you
Right.
15 minutes after your loss. You have 15
Go cry
minutes.
in the corner. You got 15 minutes. Let's go.
Then come back.
Yeah, I feel like we've got a lot of serious competitors on this team. Like what Derek's saying, he went to Malaysia and that crushed you, Derek, to lose your first trip out there overseas. Now this is coming from somebody who is currently #1 in this state, high ranked in this country, and that's part of the levels here. And it on one end, it's like, yeah, you have to be serious about those losses. And I think that's also why the rest of the team takes it very serious, because we all, those of us that are in, like, that shit's important to us, and I think we all do help each other to work through those things and get better. But yeah, that shit stinks, because all of us, we want to win. But unless you come into this sport, Levon, right off the bat, if you're not taking losses, then you're not competing enough. You're not learning enough, in my opinion. Or you went to some small tournament and you just didn't compete anymore.
I think an important distinction though is that, like, guys, not everybody that joins an arm wrestling team, their life goal is to be some crazy high level arm wrestler. Everybody runs their own race. There's definitely, and it took me a while to become okay with the fact that some people are here to be with the boys on Sunday, and that's fine. And you can still be an alpha empire guy. You can still be hardcore with us, and you can have your pride in competing through the team, like through how well did Lorenzo help Kane get his arm ready. And Lorenzo can be proud of Kane and be competitive himself through Kane, or for instance, right? And
Always
so
try to get Kane.
to live through, you can be competitive through our team. And I think that's important. I think that it took a long time. I used to be like, dude, what are you doing? You're not in the gym every day of the week. You're not training real hard. You don't want to be a world champion. Like, why are you even here? Like, I used to, when I first saw the team, it was really hard for me to understand that, because my goal was always to be number one. Like, we're all trying to be number one in the world, right? All of us are trying to be number one in the world to fight for
Violently.
that. And so it took a while for me to understand, like, okay, this dude's just here. He loves the team. He wants to have a couple beers and kick it with the boys, but he's here to help the team. As long as he's here to help the team, and the guys that do want to move, like, have those giant goals and help them move towards that, cool. And they can, and I love those guys. And thank you for sacrificing your arms on Sundays. Thank you for passing on all that knowledge. And those guys are insanely valuable, maybe the most valuable, right? And so, because they're not there to try to work on themselves, they're giving 100% to the team, which is even more valuable than maybe I'm spending half my time working on myself and half the time with the team, right? So they could even be more valuable to the team. And so, like, I think those people look past them and like, oh, he's not serious. But dude, when it's serious to the team, that means, if Will's not taking it serious, then at least he's helping Kane reach his goals, right? Or whatever like that. And so I think that's something that should be focused on, or at least mentioned a lot, that you don't have to want to be the number one in the world, man. You can still be a very important, pivotal part of the team for sure.
And isn't that an interesting fact, how like there is a lot of people that thoroughly just enjoy coming to hang out at a practice and arm wrestling,
And weekend warriors.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an interesting thing about the sport, and people that have never like done it or been a part of that environment, wouldn't think so. But yeah, it really is cool. I mean, you can bring your family out, you can bring your kids and just kick it, have drinks, have fun, and maybe even get a little workout. Derek, I remember, and Josh, you were there too. The Compound Battle Royale, really great tournament, and a year ago, and I remember having just a really bad day there. And I remember like you stepped in like right after I think I was eliminated out of the tournament or lost the what is it, the little battle royale or whatever you call it. And I remember the first thing you did was ask me what I thought I needed to do to improve and everything, and you were hyping me up for what needed to be done to move forward. And I remember that day it was about power. He said, get your ass in the gym. And so, within, I think, weeks, I enrolled into our local gym here and started working the gym, training the path a little bit. And that tournament that sucked for me was probably one of the most important ones for me that went to the bank.
And I'm glad you only had one bad tournament, bro.
Oh, I've had a few. That was just the worst.
And the thing is, like, I think something that's really important is that, like, the guys on our team that aren't as successful as they'd like to be, as long as you can lead a horse to water, you can't make him drink. As long as everybody knows this is what you're not doing, and if you start doing these, you'll start winning. As long as everybody on our team, we all know what holds us back. I know what holds me back. I know what I do to self-sabotage myself. And as long as we all know, then I'm okay. As long as it doesn't mean you have to fix it all or change this in your life. I just want to make sure I'm equipping people with, this is what you would need to do to level up, just so you know. You don't have to do it, but just that's where you're falling behind a little bit. Cool. You choose your own path, man. I just want to make sure, here's the water. If you want to drink or not, it's up to you, type of thing. And I think it's super important. Like, we all should know what holds us back the most and what we'd have to change to move forward.
All right. Well, I think we've covered the bulk of the topics here. And yeah, really, really good stuff there. I just want to jump into the chat a little bit here. And there might be some, maybe Derek, I know you're following along, so you can help out. I know we got Veronica.
Real quick, I want to shout out those two kids. There's one that's 12 years old, one that's 14 years old.
Oh yeah.
Who has his parents bring them all the way from, I think one's from LA. I don't remember where the other one's from. But dude, I'm telling you, that 12-year-old right now is my favorite, because the technique that this kid has and the static hold he has and everything, even though the other older kid is beating him, still stays tight, listens to everyone, probably takes better direction than most grown men. But it's just amazing to see that a kid can find us somewhere and then just tell his parents to show up, and his parents just keep bringing them. Amazing to me.
Absolutely. Yeah, those kids are beasts. One of them is Todd Calazos. son, and Todd's in the chat with us right now.
Oh, Todd?
And yeah, his son's name is Elijah. Yes. And the other one came a little more recently, who's also a beast. Does anybody remember his name? He's got another cool name like Elijah.
Every practice I relearn it and I forget.
It's like right on the tip of my tongue.
I mean, because she's showing up like every 2 or 3 practices right now. He's not there every weekend right now.
I've only caught him for one, and that's why I can't remember. But yeah, these kids are amazing, and it's also cool just in general, the lightweights that we've been getting in.
I would say I think one of the questions that you put in the chat when you're thinking about making this podcast happen was like how to build a team, how to grow a team, right? I think that's one of the things you guys mentioned, and I know that could be a super long thing, but I would just say the foundation of it, man, is connect with your guys. I think it's just to build a foundation of friendship and trust is super big. To know that everybody's like-minded and they want this team to progress and move forward is massive, and you really just need. I know, I might be the tip of the spear or whatever, but I know that everybody's right behind me. So I know that if I have one idea, if I'm like, all right, we're gonna start doing this, and the whole team's behind me and they're with it. So you just need one person to take that step. Hey, let's start looking for a new place of practice. Boom. And I could ask 5 of you guys to help me start looking, and 5 of you guys would start looking. I mean, I just know that it just takes one person to move one step forward, and everybody's coming with, right? And that's fine as long as it's all trust and it's all love. So I mean, like I said, these are my best friends. And that's the biggest thing you can do. I give you a million tips on how to grow a team, build a team, advertise, run ads on Instagram, do all these things, and that stuff all helps. But if you don't have a solid foundation of guys that care about the team and care about teaching new pullers and care about things moving forward, then it doesn't really go anywhere. So it just has to be the foundation. When they get there, you have to make a house a home, right? The team has to be a team when you get there, and that's the biggest thing I would say. The biggest tip I'd give to someone trying to build it is just, even if it's just you and one other dude at first, go through the trials and tribulations with one other dude, become homies, get a third, get someone that loves it, make sure you have people there that care. There's been guys, we've kicked people off our team, we've kicked a number of people off the team, or sorry, I have kicked a number of people off our team that aren't with it, that weren't with it. They just weren't one of us, they weren't repping us, they didn't want to be one of us, they wouldn't sit with us at tournaments, they weren't like, I'm good. If you're not, I don't care if John Brzezink's on my team. If he's not with us, he's not with us. I will kick him off the team. I do not care. If you're with us or you're not. And so I think it's super important. I mean, that's everything. For me, I have my career and I have the team, and it is just as important. And I know I say it all the time, and I have so many ideas and plans for the team and cool things we can do. And we want Letterman jackets with pins on it. We want different teams, north, south, east, west. We want sponsorships. I want to get us our own gym, there's so many cool things I want to do with the team, and it just takes a lot of time and effort. I'm trying. It's hard. But yeah, I mean, this is home's where the heart's at, man. And this is definitely my home. And I think this is most everybody's home in terms of arm wrestling as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. What do you guys think about that? Because we really did cover how Alpha Empire organically started with a lot of learning some of the wrong ways and what ended up resulting in all the right ways. So now looking back after this monster is built, Ricky, what do you think?
I think that's what made us, is honestly the way we started out. It was a violent clash, because if you ask any of the old guys, the way we started, it was, banging sideways, just terrorizing our bodies violently inside and out. And through that, we started realizing, hey, maybe there's a better way we can do this. And then we started, hanging out with a couple of the older guys that would come, once every couple months. I'm talking about the real old dogs, the guys.
Yeah, like Don McClary.
Exactly. He'd come by, drop some knowledge on us, and we would just, soak all that in, rotate it around each other, say, hey, you know what? Let's work on this. He said this. He's been doing it for, 30 years. Let's try to run with that. Guys like Scott Wynn, I mean, oh my God, a fountain of knowledge. And I mean, some of the traits I still carry in my pulling are from Scott Wynn, just those little dimes he dropped on me. And it's given me the amount of knowledge I have today just by collecting that, recirculating it through the team, and then getting rid of the trash, because you'll have some guys, that have been around a little while that don't necessarily have the best styles or, outlooks on how to do it. And we figure it out amongst each other. It's not, just Derek telling every single one of us how to do it, or me telling the team how to, position themselves or anything. We all work together. And I think that's, going from just being violent with each other to, completely meshing with each other to the point where, like Derek said, we all work as one. That's how you make the best team. That's why everyone that works with us, I mean, even our local teams look up to us because, we mesh so well in that sense. Like, we're just fluid at this point.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Leo, what do you think?
Oh, man. I don't know. It just worked. It was a happy accident. We all worked together. We all just beat the hell out of each other. I mean, gosh, Ricky's been trying to break his arm since we started. And
Yep.
it works for him. I don't know. It's you find people that work together, work well, and have God, I hate saying it this way, but like good energy, and people will come to you. If you have a good rapport with people, they'll enjoy it and they'll come back. I mean, I'm sure I've scared off a couple people.
Good.
Maybe more than a
If you
couple.
scared them out, they shouldn't be there.
So, but I mean, truly, if I've scared them off and they can't take criticism or they get their feelings hurt, it is what it is. And
Right.
you got to be honest with people, and
Yeah.
then people, they may dislike what you said, but the list be like, okay, well, he's not gonna lie to me. I think that helps teams grow, and they're like, okay, well, this is somewhere I could be, and I can trust everyone here because he's yelling at that guy right there to his face. Hey, you're gonna break your arm. Stop being dumb. And I think it builds trust, and trust helps.
One of the cool things as a team too, if anybody has a problem and we know about it, we won't let them stay mad at each other.
Yeah.
You gotta work this shit out.
Yeah.
Well, on the guys team, we do that.
On the guys team. On the guys team.
You know what?
Because we know how guys work.
Most of our point of view kind of comes from an old man kind of perspective, because we all have families, and we all have to get home to somebody and got something going on. But in the sense, it's great to have Will on, because he's the youngest of the OGs, and he's also quite a bit younger than us, physically. So I would like to see, I would like to hear his perspective on what it's like being a younger guy in the game, because us, we're basically starting our battle with arthritis at this point. But he's to me, Will's still that 17-year-old kid that just started on the team, not able to have a beer yet, but that's how I'll always see him in my heart. That's why I value his opinion when it comes to this, because he's been around long enough to see the transition, the big fade that we've gone through, as well as still be youthful enough to have that spark in him of that new, everything's still kind of new to him.
All right, Will, tell us the feels.
Well, the feels. Well, when I first started, I do remember Derek telling me, he was like, one thing, do not arm wrestle like that guy, because I didn't know who Ricky was, and his shit was fucking just some crazy backwards shit. I'm like, bro, that's crazy. I was like, all right, I don't want to ever arm wrestle like that. But all right, this is kind of off topic, but it was because of Ricky that I became decent, like in a hook like that. I mean, it was Gage mainly, but I started practicing a lot with Ricky, doing like a lot of side pressure and some crazy shit. So that helped. But anyway, back to the story, right? So I feel like I was really fortunate to start when I did, because it was already kind of like formed, like the team was already like a team, like people were already coming every week. And when I met everyone, it was kind of people that had already arm wrestled, like everyone already knew what they were doing. I was the only like new person other than my boy Dennis, and I had a lot to learn from people that already knew how to do things, and that was really good. And then and plus I might look young, but bro, I already feel it. My back, my knees, everything is hurting. I'm 28
You're
now.
too young to have a back.
Nah, I need a fucking rebuild. That shit is going out.
You got a mechanic's body, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm also like pretty happy to be, here still now. I mean, obviously I love arm wrestling, but it's cool to see like all the newer people. Like, it used to take forever to get someone new to come to the practice on the team, and now since arm wrestling's getting out there, it's nice seeing all these different new people come in, and more people to train with, because even if someone might be a lot weaker than you, it doesn't mean that they don't give you some help in some type of way. you know. So
You're welcome.
shit. Huh?
You're welcome.
Oh shit, yeah. I mean, come on. You were pretty strong when I started, Leo. I don't know what happened.
Just so we're clear, 1-0. Still got the winning
Nah,
record
I
on
think
you in the
you're
tournament.
2-0 with me. I think you beat me twice out of that tournament. Yeah, that's sad, man.
I hope you never pull.
Kane,
Don't
you
ever
should
pull
have-
up again.
You should have Veronica on here too, Kane. But also, she could probably do her own show on women's arm wrestling and growing. And at one point, we had, I think, the biggest women's team in the United States. I swear.
Yeah.
In the world,
ever.
in the world, we had
Sweden has a
13.
lot. Sweden, hold on.
They don't have
In the
13.
world.
But
They don't have
I think we
13.
had 13 women, active women with jerseys. I think at one point on our team, which has to be the biggest team.
With the world champ as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm saying again. I mean, Veronica should have been on this call, but also she could do her own thing with you and just talk about.
That would be great. I would
Yeah.
be honored if she jumped on and we
She's
could
definitely
do whatever she
Veronica,
wants.
Veronica and Jaden are one of our hardcore founding. For
Yeah,
sure.
for sure.
Yeah, Jaden was saying earlier that it was Bakersfield that was Alpha Empire's first tournament, and seeing all you guys in your jerseys is what hooked him. He wanted to be a part of that.
There's so many guys. We've had so many core guys over time. I know Gage has moved and stuff, but Gage was definitely a hardcore veteran member of our team, and he was with us everywhere we went. And then Dennis, who's not here right now. Like, there's a lot of guys I would still consider very veteran core members of the team that would have a place in any call I'm on for sure, and any table I sit down at. But yeah, I mean, the list is so long. There's so many people that aren't there right now that were hard. Kevin Polachek, we haven't seen him in a while.
Polachek's, yeah.
Yeah, like there's so many guys, dude. That made this all possible. It's definitely not just us.
Yeah, we probably could do just a show all the time with Alpha Empire and have something different every week. Yeah, it's a huge team. Speaking of which,
stories for days, man.
Yeah. So are the Knights spreading the Alpha Empire gospel out there in, what is it, Tulsa or
Oklahoma?
Somewhere in Oklahoma. Yeah.
I know Veronica bleeds Alpha Empire. Like, she is like that. She reps to death. So I know, and I'm trying to tell them, like, do it. Of course, I'm like, thank you. But like, train with people out there. Don't not go to a practice out there just because you're so loyal to us. Still, but I think they might just. I don't know what they're doing right now, because they're still posting all the pictures of them repping the Alpha Empire stuff, which I love. I hope they're also training with other teams, like getting their table time in out there and
yeah, most importantly. But I mean, we've got our little East chapter in the California desert. But boy, we'll start like really investing if we can start if they can jumpstart the whole out of state thing with Alpha Empire. That'd be cool.
I'm down.
Yeah.
I mean, I trust them. I trust them for sure. So
yeah.
And then hopefully future for when we're in our 70s and 80s is that we have our own teams that we get to pitch against each other. And then we're doing that for thousands of dollars against each other just privately. That's my dream for when we're old and gray. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, dude, I have this 205er that'll take out your 205er, Ricky. Better watch out. And then we're just sitting there sipping whiskey and watching these arm wrestlers, our teams pool. Like, that's my dream when I'm old and gray.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Nice.
I'm all for it.
Yeah, Veronica actually says, in regards to what we were talking about in advice in building a new arm wrestling team, she says having someone with a vision definitely helps as far as the glue of the team. And I think that's very profound. Yeah, it really does take, Derek was talking about the tip of the spear. And I think, yeah, somebody having that vision that other people can get on board with and creating a unit that pushes that forward. I think that's really cool. What you're saying.
I would say anyone taking on the leadership of a team, you have to know right off the bat, it's going to be a thankless job.
Yeah. You're
going to be doing a lot of stuff where you're not going to get something back from it, but you have to look at the final goal, because we're all really good friends with Derek and talk to him privately. We know how much shit he gets from everyone, bro. All sides.
I give him the most shit.
That don't know what he goes through, what he's actually doing behind the scenes. You know what I mean? Like, me, Ricky, Leo, Will, we see what he's physically doing and we see the actions he's taking, but to somebody else, it's funny. But what he does behind the scenes, really, I don't think I don't think we all would have stuck together if he didn't do as much as he's done and sacrifice as much as he's done, along with the rest of us too. Because I mean, shit, it all takes sacrifice to stay and not tear each other's heads off, I guess.
We've all been through a lot of stuff. Specifically, I mean, at least me, you, Leo, and Ricky, we've been through some of the craziest stuff in our lives while we've been on this team. And that's something I talk about a lot in other podcasts, is that like this, you know, in terms of giving back to arm wrestling, it's like it's given me so much in terms of the stuff I went through with the people you guys know what I went through with. And like, if I didn't have arm wrestling, like to hold me together, to have something to cling to, and the team, like, I mean, I know Ricky's gone through some crazy stuff while being on the team, and some of these Sunday practices might have been the only thing that kept him sane and on the planet. You know what I mean? Like, so this is
that in its own could be its own show. I mean, you guys have seen. I mean, I'll just be open and honest. I mean, I've gone through drug addiction. I've had my family torn apart. I mean, everything. And at the end of the day, one thing I was guaranteed was on Sunday, I was going to go somewhere with people who don't really know my day-to-day life, and they were going to love me as though we bled the same blood.
That's right. Yeah.
And I mean, you know, that's what lets you know. Like, I mean, no other team truly has that the way we do. There may be some that come close, but I haven't seen one personally. And I mean, out of state, out of the country, I haven't seen one that, you know, has the bond that we have. And I mean, you know, we have like Lorenzo was saying, we have some stories that could just, you know, we could wrap your ear off for hours and hours and hours about our stories. And that goes to show everything we've been through in, you know, in these years together, constantly together, not one guy going and doing his own thing, together as a team.
And we still want to kick it with each other.
And we still love each other. Always.
Well, you know, I love you a little less now, Ricky. You used to always have Sour Patch Kids, and you know, I can't ever get any candy anymore.
Man, like I said, I'm not Will's age no more, man. I gotta start taking insides.
Will's 28. You know? Everybody else assumes Will's like 20 years old.
I've already stopped eating that shit.
See?
Yeah, see?
But, I mean,
no one's got candy,
you know?
anymore. This is bullshit.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, that's a cool thing that, I mean, if people want to look up to me for anything, it would be that I've been through every weight class possible. You know, I've done the super heavies, I've done the 220s, I've done the 205s, the 185s, 165s. I've done it all. So if you want to, you know, because there are some people that
in the wrong order too.
In the wrong order. I went backwards on it, but hey, you know. But yeah, I mean, if you look at arm wrestling for a thing about I want to be strong, you know, and it's part of my health thing, then yeah, you can look at it like that too. And look at me, I lost a whole bunch of weight doing that, and hey, you know, same thing. Whereas Derek went the other way. He started off at like 200 pounds, and now he's like, you know, bigger than Levon.
I started off at 176 too.
Yeah, see.
And Lorenzo was big too for a while.
I was 240, came down.
Yeah, see, so arm wrestling is nothing but good. All we do is, you know, shed fat, build muscle as a team.
I lost muscle.
This is a scary podcast to have, man, because you got to remember, this is the people we sit around and talk to every time. We can just go for 7 hours. We just sit around and talk to this group anyway. Like, this is just on camera.
We're not having dinner tonight, babe.
Yeah, I didn't know how to say, like, this, this is who we talk with every Sunday for hours. So it's just like having the boys on a podcast. So it'll just keep going and going and going.
Yeah, we really could. And what you're
same topics too. It never changes.
And what you're saying, Ricky, is just so true. And that's some deep stuff, because you really can at these practices, even if we go to the joint practices, you know, pulling with other guys we know at other practices too, just arm wrestling in general. You get if you're in it for the long haul, for the journey, you kind of get the feel, like a very clear perception that all these other arm wrestlers are growing as individuals, you know, even outside of the sport when they stick it out. It's a community that's really interesting. I don't know what it is. I just, the way we support each other to get stronger. I think there's something extremely fundamental there due to the adversity of it. Because no matter how much heavier weight I've gone to go lift at the gym, per Derek's advice, I never come back from the gym, no matter how heavy I try and lift or do the PRs and all that crap, never comes close to a Sunday table time with my team ever. And there's something about going that deep, and getting that connection with other people doing the same thing. It's a really cool dynamic. I'm still trying to figure out like why, but we can go to church and stuff like that on Sunday, Emily and I, and I think it's great. It's just different, but this feeds me in just a different way. I absolutely love it.
And you guys, I mean, we're talking about going through things in life, and like you've gone through some stuff while you've been an arm wrestler, but we're about to go through this big phase, right? You guys are about to have your kid. There's gonna be pictures of Lorenzo kissing your baby, right? And in 5 years, you guys look back and be like, man, we went through this whole even beginning parenting thing while on the team, and like that our kids even knows all the guys on the team and all that stuff. Like going through these trials in life while being on the team, it's just like it cements you even more in it. Like you're just
I will be Uncle Renzo for
that's
sure.
what I'm saying. Like that's how that's gonna be. Like the whole team loves you, Emily, to death. We're gonna love the baby to death. Like that's just part of it. And it's gonna grow tighter and tighter and tighter, right? As things keep moving forward. So I think it's important.
Not only that, but it's the only sport where you can have this many alphas in one room and they all get along.
Yeah, because if you want to prove something, get on the table. We'll figure it out right now. And then after you figure it out, if you lose, what are you gonna say after that? Oh, yeah, I could fight you outside.
Well, I mean, didn't what's his name? Lorenzo #2 fucking roll with Tank.
Geez,
did you guys see that? I know Derek did.
Yeah.
That was just wrestling, and that was a horrible idea. I don't know. I don't know why Derek suggested that, but
I think Lorenzo.
L2A is scared of nothing.
What happened? What happened to Lorenzo #2? Where is he? He's
he just came back. He just came back last Sunday.
Yeah, he was at practice.
He's 21. He's drinking.
He brought his own case of
beer.
beer.
Brought a case.
Oh boy!
He was so excited. He was so proud.
He's about 200 pounds. He got a little belly on him. He was sweating at practice. He had his own beer. He's like, all right,
I love it.
Back now. Let's do this.
Hey, and first time practicing in 6 months. And he went through 5-6 hours just straight, nonstop. He didn't leave the table with his never ending. Just smashing sideways with me, and I was like, "Oh my, you're back!"
Ricky to
I'm
break
so
his
happy
arm.
for it.
We were great. We were
violence
so
in there. Beautiful.
He will probably always be one of the teammates that I look up to the most because of his spirit. Am I right?
No quit.
Yeah,
that
kid's got so much spirit. He's quiet. He just stays on the table and he won't stop. I love it.
We have so many awesome people in the chat too. I mean, Shaldish is in the chat. Justin, everybody, John, like the whole squad's in here. Heraclio, everybody's in here.
We got Damien in here.
Oh, Damien,
Trader.
Yeah.
Oh, that guy. What's up, SC Damien?
Lonnie's in there too. Yeah, dude, the whole squad's up in that. So good to see you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I absolutely appreciate you guys all dropping in here. It was a blast. And yeah, we got to find some more of these to do. We really won't run out of anything to talk about. Josh.
Maybe a part 2 about something else,
Sure.
Come up with some other topics, team based or,
There she is. Hey, what's up, Emma?
What's up, Em?
She's part of the team too. So,
yeah.
So what's good, Emma? What happened today?
I had to go to the doctor's.
Yeah. She has a skin tag. We're talking about getting removed right now. So they're thinking about freezing it off or cutting it off.
Oh my God, Em, is everything okay? Do I need to come over?
Dude, you guys.
She don't want to talk to you.
She already has bigger hands than Leo right now.
Oh boy.
Yes,
I don't doubt it.
That's not saying much. I don't have a big hand.
Are you? Dude, she was having a super match with her and Ricky's son. They have a continuous match. It's gonna be a rivalry going on for years.
Oh yeah.
Oh, look at that, man. Emma, are you gonna be at practice on Sunday?
Dude higher than me, Emma. There's better people.
Not this one. I have to go to that wedding. Sunday, so
okay.
Yeah. But me and Lorenzo will be running practice, so everyone's still invited and welcome to Grandma's.
Nice.
Veronica and everybody saying hi.
I'll be there to hang out.
Yeah.
I might
I'm
be
gonna go hang out with Christian.
You going to the beach?
Yeah, I'm gonna go hang out with Christian.
Okay. Yeah,
Don't be bitter. He asked me.
All right.
I like hanging. I missed him.
Maybe. Anyway, all right. So she wants to say hi. Just want to bring her before we end the show. So.
Hey, all right. Well, thanks for dropping by.
Hi.
And thank you, Caribbean Bull Goyo, for dropping in here. The Schmo, Todd Calazo. I hope to see you and your son at practice on Sunday. The Knights, we got Jaden and Veronica in here. Benjimac. Yes, sir.
The Knights. Benjimac.
Benji.
Yeah.
Benji, share this on your channel, please. You guys, everybody that's watching this, if you're not subscribed, that's weird. Why are you watching if you're not subscribed? So subscribe to the channel, right? And if you guys can, share it on Facebook, share it on any kind of social media you guys are on. It's a beginning channel. You guys need the community to share it, especially if you're watching this. And everybody in this chat I know personally, and you all have social media, so you can all share this somewhere. Right, so it's easy. It's one button. Help out Kane. Help out Josh. Get this thing moving. It takes little baby steps. Right. I shared it on my YouTube. Y'all can share it on your stuff too.
Oh, thank you.
Send it to your grandma. She'll love to watch it.
Yeah,
beautiful.
That's our target audience right there. We got Caleb in the house too.
Ricky. If we can get one last shout out, I know all of us are going to feel this. He wasn't with us for the longest period of time, but he did have a very big impact on the team. That would be Naughty. This guy was a young guy. I mean, he came in training with water bottles, but the amount of love he had for the sport, it was really helpful to the beginning of the team, because it showed us, you may not have a gym pass, but you love arm wrestling so much, you're going to do whatever it takes. So, I mean, he even at one point got the whole team grippers, just to keep us constantly focused. And I mean, it was just a simple little gripper set. After that, I would say the following couple months was probably the strongest all of our hands have ever been, just because we saw that this guy was just so serious about us as a team. He bought us all, the whole team, a set of grippers. And yeah, we all miss him very much. So, Nadi, if you see this, we miss you. We love you.
Miss you, Nadi.
Back someday. Know you're in a whole nother country on the other side of the world, but we love you and we miss you.
Yes, sir. Yes, and thank you for dropping in Heraclio. Thanks for dropping in Don Mormon. Yeah, who else did we have? Shoot, I think that covers it. Definitely for Natfit, if you want to get some good supplements, or if you want the best strap on the planet, Lion straps, you can find the links for those in the description section of this video. Check that out. There's also some other,
Huge shout out to ET winning your super match this weekend, by the way, buddy. Congratulations.
Oh, yeah.
ET.
Won 4-2. He went out there, represented, beat Damien's boys ass, bro. So I just I've got to give a big shout out to ET. I didn't even think about that. We haven't mentioned ET's name in this whole podcast. ET is a huge part
of
the
Whisperer.
Love ET to death. I don't know why his name didn't pop up. So ET heads up the team Alpha Empire East. We all love ET. We all love us some ET.
It's because we didn't get to the hotel yet. He showed up at the hotel.
Yeah. There's phases of this team. We didn't get to the hotel part, but he is a fundamental part of the team. Love ET to death. That's our boy. So
absolutely. And thank you.
Sucks.
Yeah. Thank you, Leo.
That's some Leo shit right there.
Yes, sir. Like I said, everyone has their place. And thank you for John Hutchison for dropping in. And yes, sir. Josh, thank you for helping me run the ship here. And all of you guys for dropping in here. I really appreciate you taking the time. Let's do it again. Thank you, everybody in the chat. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Let's get those arms up, boys.
Shit, I'm tired.
Now pull yours back, Derek, like back here. I'll come up.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hold on. Hey, if we're gonna do this, we gotta do it right.
Oh
no.
Oh, whatever, Ricky.
You don't want me to flex my arm like that. It's too big.
Oh, look at those shadows, bro.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna shit himself. Hurry up.
Come on, Will, take off that shirt. Take off that shirt, Will.
Oh,
this is how you get strong right here.
I know, damn it. Will has the most veins than all of us. Will has more veins on his one arm than all of us combined.
No, dude, like I'm pretty built, but my chest just goes whoosh. It's disgusting. I'm not taking my shirt off, bro.
You got a little swimming pool going on.
All right. Bye-bye, everybody.